Okay. You have seen how we can create our own exception object. But, well, the one that we have seen is an existing exception type that the library has already provided for us. Okay? But what if we want to create our own exception? Well, we can. Let's see here. We can create our own type of exception by writing the exception that we want to create as a class that extends from class exception. Okay? So in this example, I write my class called my exception, and in the constructor, I define that it has one parameter or one argument, and the constructor just print the string that's given as the argument. Okay? So once you define your own exception like this, you can use it in your program. Alright? So in this example program, Alright. In this example program, my main method execute the method called welcome. Alright, and in the code for the method welcome, it receives a string as an argument. If the string is the word Java, then it just print out and end the program. But if the string is not the word Java, then it generates an exception, and it creates an exception. That is our own my exception, right? With the given string. Okay, so we can actually create our own exception. Alright, we can define variables of this exception and use them to store necessary information that we have when the exception gets created. Alright, so that the information can be used by the exception handler later on. Alright, in this case, it's not much because we just have a string to print out. Alright, but you can store anything you want. Okay? Alright. So when this exception gets thrown out of the method welcome, the actual execution, right? If we type in some word that's not the word Java, then this line will create the exception object and throw it out of the method welcome. Right. So this catch will catch it. Alright, see the catch is catching our type of exception, our type of exception. See? And then this line of code will be run. Alright? Okay, so what appears is when the exception takes place, when it gets created, it prints right away. So the printing will print this line, alright, and the catch will print this line, alright. So that what happened. Right? That's what happens. When we create our own exception, we can specify what it does when it gets created. Alright? We can create our own exception and throw it. Alright? And we can catch our exception and deal with that exception. Okay?